Hi guys, welcome to my channel Efficient Automation Labs. So in the previous lecture we saw how we can create a Java project and run a very basic hello world program. So in Java, whenever you run any program, the execution starts from the main methods. So it's really important for you guys to understand what main method is and why it has been declared with public static void keyword and with an string array argument. So let's try to understand this. So the first word which you see on the declaration is public. So public is basically an access modifier which specifies from where and who can access the main method. So normally in Java, the main method is made public so that the JVM can access this method as the JVM is outside of this class, right? So whenever we execute any program, the JVM will look for the main method. So to make this method accessible to JVM, we need to make it public. Then we have static. So static is a keyword in Java. So when we use static with any method, the method becomes accessible through the class. So the reason why main method has been made static in Java is because whenever we run any program, the JVM looks for main method, right? And then if it is not static, it will have to create an object and then call the main method. So, but when we make it static, the JVM will look for the method and directly call it with the class reference, and it will not create any object. So in that way, we are able to save memory also, so that because we are not creating any new object, right? So it's we're just calling with the class reference, so that is why it helps in memory management also. Then we have void. So void means nothing, right? So this is basically the return type of the method. So when we say void, that means the main method is not returning anything. And then we have string args. So this is the runtime arguments which we can pass to the method. So in this example, we are just printing hello world, right? So we are not using any of the runtime arguments. So let's try to use one runtime argument and see how it works. So just right click on the your IDE, just go to modify run configuration. And then on this program argument side, you can just give your arguments. So let's say I give my first argument and then just save it, apply, and then click OK. So now to print it, so let me just use this shortcut of SOUTV, which will just generate this statement for me where I can see the args array variable printed, right? So normally whatever argument we pass will be stored in this string array. So since we have passed only one value, so I'll have to use the index to get that value printed. And then now if I use array of 0, so whatever value I have passed in the argument, that should get printed. Yep, so you can see, right? So the argument which we passed, it got printed. So again, also let's try to understand these keywords from an example. Okay, so let's say I create a method public and then static, and then let's say I say void and then method. So this method will basically not do anything. We'll just try to print an statement. So like this is from method. Okay, so we'll have just this method declaration. So now as you can see, I have created a method with the keyword static, right? So like I was explaining, whenever we create any method with the static keyword, we don't have to create any object. So let's see how we can access the static methods. So to access this method inside this class, all we need to do is just use this class name and then do a dot and then call the method. So in this way, you are able to access the method without even creating the object. So let's say if I run it, I should see this message getting printed. Okay. So you can see, right, this is from method. So this method got created. So again, like if I just remove this static, so this will become a non-static method. So in this case, if you can see the compiler is complaining, right? We are not able to access this method just by the class reference. So to access the non-static method, I will have to create an object. So to do that, I'll just use the class name So let's say class name, and we create a reference variable, and then we use new keyword to create an object. So this way we create an object, and now I can use this reference and then call this method. So you see here, right? So whenever we have the method as non-static, then every time we need to create an object and call the class. But if we make it static, then we don't have to create an object. So that is the reason why main method was made static, so that we don't have to create object. So when we don't want the object to be created every time when we want to call a method, we can just make the method as static and use the class reference, so that we don't have to create object, and then we can save memory as well. Yeah, yeah. So that's all guys for this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.